I'm going to show you how to create an Overwatch-like ability. First, you're going to need to create your ability. Use a do once node and connect it to a delay, similar to what I've done here. Then you want to create a widget and add it to the viewport. Connect it to the begin play and promote it to a variable. Now, let's create our ability icons. You want one icon where the ability is full and one where it's recharging. In Overwatch, you have a white color for full and orange color for recharging, so I will use these colors. Design your icon as you'd like. Get an icon that represents what your ability is and paste it into Paint, but make sure it's a PNG. Once you're done, save it as a PNG. Create your recharging icon as well. You can also add an input icon if you'd like. Drag the icons into Unreal. Open the widget and add a progress bar, and set the fill type to be bottom to top. Set the background image to be your normal image. Set it to be draw as image, then set the fill image to be your recharging image. You'll notice that we have a green color instead of orange. That's because the default fill color is set to blue, and the blue interacts with our orange to form green. Set the color to be white. Give the progress bar a name. Add an image and set it to be your default image. So, in order to give it like a used but recharging effect, we want to set its tint to be a bit darker. So go back to the background image and set the tint to be darker. Set the other image to be the same scale as the progress bar, and make sure it's over and not behind it. Give it a name. Anchor everything accordingly. Go into the event graph and create a custom event. Add a sequence. Drag out the progress bar variable and get a set % node. Set the visibility of the overlapping image to be hidden. Get another set % node and connect it to an addition subnode. Get the % value of the bar and connect it to the top. Add a delay and set it to be 0.01. Connect it to a branch and check if the value equals 1. Set the % bar to be hidden on true and the image to be visible. Go back to the plus subnode. Create a float variable. Now, in order for the % bar to fill up in the correct amount of time, we will need to use a math equation. All you need to do here is to divide 1 by the amount of seconds in a minute. So if you want 1 second, you set it to be 60, 5 seconds, 300, and so on. Connect the false to the set % node. You can see that when I change the time, the bar speed matches it. Add your input key below the ability, and in your ability code, call the widget event we just created. Now, let's create the countdown number. Add a text and set its correct size, anchor, and so on. You also want to give it an outline to make it more visible. Set the text to be hidden and to be visible when calling the event. Create a float variable. This is going to be the value displayed. Set it to be its default number. Create a binding and set it to be the variable. We want to decrease its value every second and stop when it reaches 0. The delay value should be a little more than your current number to account for the delays in the widget. Set the % bar to be visible and to be hidden by default. Set the text to be hidden. So now we have a working ability. We can make it look even better though. For example, we can change the F key to look pressed by changing its tint. Using it as reference, get a set brush node and create 2 brush variables. one with the pressed color and one with the normal image. Then, set the brush to be the normal one at the end of the code. We can also make the ability look like it's being pressed. Move the sequence and the below code like I do. Add a set render transform and add the percent bar and the image to it. The widget components move based on their relative location. So if you set it to 1, it will move 1 unit from its original position. So we will gradually increase the distance on the X and Y axis. I will do this 5 times, but you can do more. Set the delay around 0.03 and the last delay to be around 0.2. Remember to set it to 0 in the end. To make it look even better, I will change the brush like we did with the F key, but to an orange tinted color, like in Overwatch. Again, remember to set its default color in the end. That looks better. We can add the text to the translation as well, to make sure it stays in the center. You can also add the white line that looks like it's filling the bar. Start by adding a border and scale it so that it covers the entire progress bar. Anchor it and place it. Promote it to be a variable, and set it to be hidden. Go to the set percent node and add another set render translation node. Split the values. The Y value is the one we're going to tweak. Set the white line to be visible. You can also add this in the render translation so that it aligns with everything else. Create a variable and set it the way I do. Subtract it. Since we will need to subtract for the line to go upwards, the value to put in here is a bit more difficult to find. So you'll have to try different things until you get it right. A good tip is to place the white line just outside of the percent bar, otherwise you'll end up with this, since it doesn't fill from where the image begins, but rather from where the percent bar begins. Make sure to hide the line when the fill is done, and set the value of the variable we just created to 0. Also, to make it look cooler, make sure the number is ahead of the line. Also, to make sure the line syncs up with the bar, make it visible a little bit later. The bar also may look like it's lagging, depending on the speed you set it to. I have tried many ways of fixing it, like using an animation instead, faster tick rate, etc., but I was unsuccessful. One thing that did work is to set the white line to be a PNG image of a white line instead of using a border. You can see the difference here. It's not perfect, but it's better.